Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost and host of the Xbox Expansion Pass. Joined this week by Season Gaming's Bitcast host, Ainsley Bowden. Mr. Porsche Power, how are you, sir?
I am doing great, guys. What's happening? It is, it's been a long week. Well, week, week. E3's Summer Game Fest. So it's been very busy, as you can imagine, running an outlet. But it's been good. Well, we're going to get into it, of course. A lot of good news. Even if you didn't enjoy everything, there's a lot of good stuff to be excited for. So, yeah, man, I'm all right. Just tired.
Absolutely.
That's why I've got coffee.
Not beer this time. Okay.
Well, there's Kahlua in it, but it's coffee.
Oh, all right. There you go. Well, we are also joined this week by another content creator who is absolutely going to be exhausted as well. Mr. Joseph Moran, host of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. What's up, dude?
I am energized. And there's two things keeping me energized. Elden Ring, which we'll talk about in a minute. And let's talk about that Blue Box Studios. Is it not a Silent Hill game? Is Kojima on it? I'm in the rabbit hole with this crazy. Have you not heard of any of this?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
I've got all the info on it. I just don't care.
Oh man, I'm so into it because I see the internet like cyber sleuthing into all of this, and 110% that it's just going to lead to disappointment. So like I'm really all there to just watch people's hopes and dreams die right now.
Just all crash and burn.
Yeah.
Before we get to the shows, then what is this? I don't know this.
Okay, so there was a game tease called Abandoned by a mysterious studio. This would be their first game, called Blue Box Game Studios.
Okay, that was a couple weeks ago.
That was months ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
All right.
Now, some cyber sleuths have done the digging after a tweet that they did about a night ago, saying that Abandoned's not really the real name. That's just the name of the project. That the game starts with the letter S and ends with the letter L, which everybody pointed to. Oh, this is Silent Hills. Like this is it. This is, and a lot of people already had a feeling that this was a Kojima thing with the original announcement. So now everybody's just going through the rabbit hole, just trying to piece together.
And Kojima teased something as well, like playing into it. And so people think, in short, Kojima is doing a viral kind of campaign and bringing back Silent Hill.
Ooh, those poor developers. When they announced their game is like Soul or something. Oh, those poor developers. They are not going to be able to survive that onslaught of internet.
Well, here's the thing. So like they said, like it's not Silent Hill, but they're not very convincing when they say it, because like they're not like, people are like giving them memes of like Kojima and stuff, and they're not shooting any of it down. They just announce things on Twitter and then that's it. So it's crazy. It really is nuts. And I just love a good conspiracy theory. I don't know.
I want them to call their name like Quiet Mountain or something like that, just
I said I don't care what happens with it. I don't care about Kojima. I just want Silent Hill. So somebody make the goddamn game, please.
Yeah.
Probably
I thought
Bloober.
Bloober was the one I was thinking. Like I thought the medium would be scratch that itch, and that seemed to come and go.
It was a good game. I played it, reviewed it, I liked it, but it didn't scratch Silent Hill itch. No.
Did it
So
not?
you rated it a 9?
No, I didn't.
What game did you rate a 9?
A better one.
I
think I gave medium either a 7.5 or an 8, and the game I gave a 9 is better than that, as you would expect.
I will defend your Biomutant a bit. I completely started over because they did a lot of quality of life improvements. I'm definitely noticing the quality of life improvements immediately.
Nice.
Far more manageable. So
you're still early. Like I've said a million times. I know people don't like to hear it, but that game just gets a lot better as it opens up.
The thing is, I couldn't get past all the gunk in the beginning, and so now I'm really I'm much more hopeful. Much more hopeful.
Stick with it.
I'll be going back to it in August. I'll be going back.
You're not going to do that in August. Are you kidding me? August after this week, we know August is jam packed.
There's a lot of stuff coming out after
lot
July,
of stuff.
basically.
Yeah, let's get to it then. Let's get to it. Oh yeah. So this past week was a blur for content creators all over. Not only did we have the Summer Game Fest, which started everything off, we followed that up with Ubisoft Forward. There was a Gearbox thing in which Randy Pitchford harassed a bunch of people trying to make a movie. There was the Xbox Bethesda showcase, followed by some WB Game stuff, the PC Game Show. Then we had, goodness, what was the next one? Square Enix Presents was in there. There was a Nintendo Direct, a second Xbox showcase, which was not the same as the first one and still turned out to be pretty decent. Says the guy in the Master Chief hoodie. We had a lot of content to cover this past week, gents.
It's a good time to wear a Master Chief hoodie.
Yeah, like it is. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
I can't wait to just gush about Halo with you guys.
Oh, my God. I'm ready. But we got to pace ourselves.
Well, let's start off with Summer Game Fest, because that was Jeff Keighley's thing. It kicked off the season of coverage, as it were. And I thought, all in all, it was a little over 90 minutes, for almost 2 hours worth. All in all, a decent show, I thought. Not a lot that piqued my interest as like a must-have for Luke Lore kind of thing. But compared to what I was expecting, which was, a little damaged after last year's elongated, stretched-out coverage, I was rather impressed with the Summer Game Fest. I thought it was good.
It's fine.
Okay. All right, fine.
I was waiting for Joe to speak.
Talk about now.
I mean, I gave it a 9. So
yeah, that makes sense.
No, I thought Summer Game Fest. I didn't enjoy it too much, and I'm usually pretty positive on these shows. I don't look for a whole lot, right? If there's like one or two kind of big games that excite me, then it's fine. And that's where I was on this. There's 2 games, the first one and the last one. I'm a big Borderlands guy. I've always loved Borderlands. So Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is really, really, really exciting for me, because if you're not a Borderlands fan and listening to this, the best content in Borderlands history is probably Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which was the biggest expansion for Borderlands 2. There was always a running joke among the Borderlands community that they need to make a game out of that, because it was so good and it could be so interesting. And they've done that. So you're going to get like the Borderlands world with more of a like D&D style RPG mechanics, which is just incredible to me. Right. So super pumped for that. And then if you want Joe and I to take over for 90 minutes on Elden Ring, we can do that. I mean, Elden Ring is phenomenal looking. Absolutely one of the best trailers I've watched for me personally in a while.
Well, that was the big get for his show. And we talked when we did the branding idea discussion in the last cast co-op that we would really be interested to see how they distinguish each other. Elden Ring seemed to be the big get for Jeff Keighley for Summer Game Fest. It seemed to excite a lot of people. And as fans of From Software, Soulsborne style games, both of you lost your minds in the best ways, right? In the ways that
Joe's reaction. Joe was really like me. As soon as it came up, I was chatting with some other guys and I was like, oh my God, it's Elden Ring. It's coming. And then as soon as you start, it's a 3-minute trailer. It's meaty, right?
Yeah.
And Joe can kind of back me up on this. Like if you know the Souls games and are familiar with the Souls games, Bloodborne, etc., there's so many things in that trailer that are both like new to the franchise you've never done before, but also kind of reminiscent of other experiences you may have had. And it just, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, like screaming. I was like, oh my God, I'm in. So it's just one of my favorite trailers of the whole week. I think you guys can correct me. I think it's literally the most viewed trailer out of any of the trailers that have come out this past week. Like I think I said before, people underestimate how big the Souls community is. And this is just showing it. This game's going to be a mega hit.
And Joe, you stopped your Bloodborne countdown to do an Elden Ring countdown, right?
That's right. That's right. And as
Bloodborne doesn't deserve it as much, but
fair.
Sorry, you were all the way up here, and I just
exactly. No, it's as of recording, it's 217 days, but as this premieres live, it's 216 days until the launch of Elden Ring. And I'm pretty much
tomorrow, right? 2:15.
What's that?
2:15.
Yeah, 2:15. Don't miss it, Luke. So I am. Oh, shut up with your naps.
This guy naps.
Old ass.
You see what happens?
Jesus. Anyway, I'm on board with Ains. I'm not one of those people that do a lot of reaction stuff. because usually they're just my thing, but since
He's reacting to every single show.
What I mean, I mean like the trailer stuff, you know, like where we're like, oh gosh, like, oh my god, there's a guy with a sword, that stuff. But since this is something that me and my community gush over, I felt that I was compelled to do it. And this is the culmination of everything that From has learned with Demon Souls onward. Like Ains, you're 110% right. You got the verticality from Sekiro. You have the magic from someone's outside. Anyway, you have the magic-esque abilities from like Dark Souls or Demon Souls there. And yeah, it's just everything that, man, it just looks so good. And like the open worldness of it, the way that they describe this world, the huge hub world, and just how everything interconnects with the huge hub world, the way that they're talking about it is they're selling me that this is from Software Ocarina of Time. And that's what's getting me very, very hyped, because from games, these games are very much love letters to the old, 3D Zelda games. So of like Ocarina. So I'm really all in, man. I watch this trailer every single day just to feel something again. And like the online component too seems really awesome, where you could party with 3 other people and just traverse the world together. Like just continue. I'll go on too long. Everything that just had me hyped. There wasn't a moment in this trailer that I don't look back and go, oh my god.
No, it's like every cut, right? It's almost like Halo, which we're going to get to, but every cut was purposeful. And said something to the community. Exactly. Hassan, who is he's not a Souls guy, and we just bullshit, of course. But he's like, oh, it's just Dark Souls 4. And I was like, dude, you're just showing that you don't know anything about the Souls games, because that trailer alone, there's like 20 things that have never been in a Souls game before.
Yeah.
And then we've learned more detail since, which you can find on seasongaming.com, which, are just really, really interesting, right? They have full melee builds in this.
Yep.
Not melee, excuse me. Magic again, like you said. So it's like you've got that melee magic combination. You've got your mounts, you've got your co-op, you've got meaningful characters, and like open world that transcend into seamless dungeons, as you were talking about. I mean, it just sounds freaking brilliant. Biggest game they've ever done, they said, by far. There was a go figure, right? Kotaku ran an article today saying that it's easier but doesn't have difficulty options, and I'm like, that's not what From Software said. You took it out of context. Basically what they're saying is, because of the co-op, because of some of the new features in the game, it's more approachable. There's more kind of things there for people to use, but that the encounters would still be everything you know and love about Souls. I don't know why my camera went blurry.
I was like, that's weird.
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah. Also, hope that the RTX is not you only hear me and not the whatever is going on outside, because it's annoying me right now.
No, I can't hear it.
No, we don't hear it.
That aggravated me. That Kotaku thing. And
but it's Kotaku.
Also,
like a buddy of mine posted it, and I was like, never drink Kotaku, man. Like, just mute them and ignore them, because they're a waste of time.
I had a bit of a frustrating talk with Kyle, because I was like, Kyle, come on, we could co-op together. Like, you want an easier experience? Here it is. He's like, yeah, but you're just going to do everything. It's like the sense of achievement's not going to be there. I'm like, well, come on now. You want the sense of achievement, but you don't want to achieve it. Come on.
Yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Now, the one thing, Joe, maybe you saw. So I went through all the details. Like I said, it's on our site. I'm being serious. I'm not just plugging.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was said, and I'm trying to find it, is that the hub, kind of the open world section, is 2 to 4 player co-op for the first time. But then if you look in their more recent details they shared, and I'm trying to find them, there they are. Oh, there's crafting as well. Mm-hmm. Sorry, there you go. Game supports multiplayer as previously noted. However, Miyazaki specifically said, this is from IGN, by the way, during exploration on the open fields. But then there was like a comment basically where you get into the dungeons, right? I don't know if it's still 2 to 4 player co-op, or if it's more like a a hub shared system, and then you kind of go off in certain sections you have to adventure on your own. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
that'd be super interesting. That would kind of then you would maybe have your bonfires where you could team up with people. Like Demon Souls did that pretty darn well. Yeah, you could have like little checkpoints where you all just meet up and then just venture out into the dungeon.
Venture out. And it says spirits you collect, which they showed briefly in the trailer. And you can summon them, and they can have different roles. So you can have like a melee spear, magic spear, and they're upgradable as well.
Yes.
So they're almost like kind of co-op characters or followers, if you will, from other RPGs.
IGN said something along the that made me want to yell the C word into my shirt. It was similar to Pokemon. And I was like, get out. Just get out.
That's one of those things someone writes for the SEO optimization.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. You get it. Like, that is such an SEO bullshit word.
Yeah. It's like, let's add Pokemon to Elden Ring and see if we can explode this, Yeah.
And so I looking at that comment made some brain cells just commit suicide. But I will say that what that is an evolution on is the phantoms that you'd have, like in Bloodborne or Demon Souls, or Dark Souls, that you find an apparition or an item that you summons a character and they'd help you, but usually they kind of be a little bit broken or maybe overpowered for that boss.
Yeah, they work balance extremely well.
Yeah, so this is a good way to kind of actually explore that aspect of their series. So I'm excited to see how that works, and maybe that's a replacement for your multiplayer friends. So look, Luke does not care.
Fly my little Halo wasp around.
You're right.
I'm gonna grapple to it and hijack it.
Yes, right. Okay. Yeah. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
By the way, last thing on Elden Ring is I'm just very thankful the character creator returns. One of my Sekiro's not in my top from games, like top 3. One of the reasons why is it just didn't have the same fun for me not being my own character and being able to have those RPG builds, right? Different classes, different statistics. Sekiro it removed all of that, and I didn't like that as much.
Same.
I said hornet. I said wasp. It's definitely a hornet. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought it was.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, come on. If we're gonna talk Halo, get your shit together.
I know.
God.
All in all, it sounds like Elden Ring really saved that show for you guys. Is what I'm hearing. Yeah. And I think in the context of everything, it was the third best show. Out of all the shows, with the Xbox ones being 1 and 2. Accordingly, which might say something for sure.
Xbot.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, this week everybody seems to be. I will say amusedly, the Ubisoft conference was on the following Saturday, and that brought a whole heap of emotions for me because I was really impressed with Rainbow Six Extraction, and then they stayed on it forever, which really I thought hurt the pacing of the show.
Yep.
Talked more about Rainbow Six and then more about Rainbow Six. And after that, they talked about Rainbow Six. Mario and Rabbids was in there. And unfortunately, that got ruined for a lot of people because it was spoiled. And then the one that I was excited about, but had a very mixed reception, was Avatar. And that's the one I'd like to actually start on our discussion for Ubisoft. I was really impressed with the Avatar visuals, with the potential of the gameplay. Whether you like the movie or not, I think it's fair to say that it's ripe for a lot of gameplay opportunities. And as someone who did like the movie, my mind started racing with possibilities there. But overall, I was rather impressed with what we saw from the Avatar stuff because I had forgot that game was being made. And it really made me feel good that, okay, this group's also working on Star Wars stuff. And that's a stretch, but it's a fan. It's when you're watching as a fan, you think as a fan. So all in all, I liked that a lot. I don't know how you guys felt about the Avatar showcase and then, just Ubisoft in general.
So from what I heard, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, Avatar's not my thing, but the game genuinely looks good. And what Kyle told me was, because I've been lost in the E3, stuff as well, was Disney saw Ubisoft's Avatar game. And they liked it so much that's why they gave Massive also the Star Wars.
I saw that today as well, but I didn't check into its validity. Is it?
That's same. I don't know if it's legit.
Yeah,
there's no way for us to find
an article. There's an article by Joe Screbbles from IGN. So that states, So like that's cool. Like if that's the case, I'm like, all right, then if this game is impressing Disney, then hopefully that means it's got a lot of promise to it. So it's just a CG thing, but honestly, I forgot how interesting the world's fauna is.
Mm-hmm.
And not
like
so much
Felicia from Star Wars.
Exactly. Yeah, very much so. So I'm interested. I'm excited, but nothing like I'm getting out of my chair and
Right. Yeah.
So one of the things we talked about on Bigcast too, Luke, which you remember, right, is that a lot of people don't realize because it's been like a decade or more. When did Avatar come out? It's been a long time.
2009. We found
2009. Okay, I was going to say 2010. So 2009. But many people don't know that James Cameron has made 4. You heard me. 4 more Avatar movies, and they begin rolling out next year, 2022. So it goes to people might now forget how big Avatar was. Avatar took over the conversation. That movie was incredibly big. And you had people on YouTube literally in blue paint speaking the language from the movie. I mean, it took over part of the culture for a time.
For context, it was the highest grossing film of all time worldwide until Avengers did Endgame, I believe.
It's true, yeah, until the last decade has been.
And then Avatar came back in theaters in China, and then it took its.
Why'd you say it like that?
Why did you say it like that?
Sometimes I just miss them.
Did you count the lead?
It took me a second. As soon as I said why'd you say it like that, it clicked. I got it. Never mind.
So,
if you got the legal sales tickets, I think Endgame still won.
Definitely, that's the one we want it to win, right? It's definitely Endgame.
But
like Endgame's such a better movie.
The point being that this game, I agree with you, Luke. It's next gen only or current gen only. He's still playing with toys over here.
So I got a Banshee. We can talk about Halo. I'm very excited for Halo.
That's not a Banshee.
Most of the show is the one that's
this is a banished Banshee.
Show.
Yes, but it has a specific name.
The banished Banshee does?
Yes.
Atriarch. Oh.
What a fake fan!
Again,
what a fake fan!
I'm telling you, do you even know what's going on over here?
Yeah,
and I'm gonna look it up because I forget what it's called too.
That's
but anyway, right. Shit, what was it? You keep throwing me off. It's the new consoles only in PC, right? And I think it did look good. And to your point, if you think about that world and the characters, and obviously building your own avatar, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of possibilities for gameplay there, and if the game's built well, big open world, which Ubisoft is good at world building. I don't always agree with their fetch questy stuff and its bloat and all those issues that we see in some other games. But in terms of world building, they do a really good job. So, which of course may be just as well with Disney seeing it and agreeing for them to do Star Wars. That could be a big part of that.
And I play a fetch questy Star Wars all day. I'm just tired of doing it in Assassin's Creed over and over again. And I'm not being silly. Like Valhalla is getting another 2 seasons worth of content. The game's already 100 hours, but it's all good. It's just more of it. I'm tired of it in Assassin's Creed all day for Star Wars. Would I do that?
Okay. So So anyway, my point was merely that Avatar is about to be big again. When the new movies come out, they're going to be big. And they could push boundaries. I mean, Avatar pushed technical boundaries when it first released. It had unique 3D, and he said it. Cameron has said that he was waiting on the technology to catch up so that he could do these next versions of the movie. So if it hits, my point being, if it hits, blows the box office away, and Ubisoft builds this game well, it's going to be a massive hit. And I think it was a good surprise because I was pretty disappointed in the Ubisoft show until that hit. It didn't save it for me like Elden Ring, but I thought it was a nice surprise because we haven't heard about that game in a very long time.
I'd forgotten.
We're building an Avatar game. That was years ago. And so it was cool for it to show up. But the rest of the show, I agree with you. They spent way too much time on Rainbow Six. Way too much time.
And Extraction doesn't look good.
I didn't think it looked that great either. No.
They're just like putty enemies from Power Rangers, it seems like, and you're fighting them, and it's like it takes the allure of what Rainbow Six is awesome about, right? It's about fighting the bad guys, right? It's about terrorist hunting and all that stuff. And I get it, it's not cool anymore for the IGN headlines, but I dig that. That's what, like, I think of games like Rainbow Six Vegas and how awesome they are, because they're grounded in what seems to be reality. And this one, I get it. Like, apparently UFOs exist now, but like even then, like I can't believe this Extraction game. And that's what takes it out for me.
Yeah, the enemies look like a poor version of the enemies from Prey, the new Prey.
Yes,
like that was very fun to play because of the variety and how you could approach them. You could get abilities. Like this is just guns against bland-looking aliens. But anyway, too much time on that. Then they spent too much time on Rocksmith. It's like cool. That's a cool game. I love the concept of it. But it's a niche audience. You're spending 10 minutes of an hour-long show interviewing people about Rocksmith. Like, it's just a bad idea. Xbox has made those same mistakes in the past when we've criticized their shows. It felt like Ubisoft had watched an old Xbox show from a few years ago and was like, yeah, that's what we need to do.
Yep.
It was odd because pacing was the name of the game, and somehow Xbox really did manage to pull it off in a 90-minute showcase with a lot of content. And that was that following Sunday. Goodness gracious. Pacing is everything in shows like this. Sony's botched it. Yeah. Sony's nailed it. Xbox has botched it, nailed it. Nintendo, et cetera, et cetera. We've seen the goods and the bads. But my goodness, did this Xbox showcase start well, showcasing pre-alpha footage of Starfield, which a lot of people were calling it CG erroneously. It wasn't CG. It was in-engine alpha footage.
Yeah, and Pete, I don't know if you heard, not to interrupt you, Luke, but there was a Twitter Spaces conversation with Aaron Greenberg and Pete Hines today on Twitter that was live. And in that, Pete Hines, they were laughing that people thought it was CG. And Pete Hines clarified after speaking to Todd Howard and said it's not only in-engine, it's all in-game assets. So everything that was shown is modeled in-game as it looks.
Impressive. That's impressive. Yeah.
That impresses me a whole lot more because every time I see an in-engine shot, I'm like, yeah, but that's gonna change.
Right. Yeah. Vertical slice in-engine is very different than full game for sure. But nonetheless, started off very quickly, gave the release date for that game, which is 11/11/22.
11 years after Skyrim.
Yep. Which was 11/11/11. Yep. Really happy to see that. It's a good date for that game. They don't need to rush and try and make a release date where the game's not ready. I'm pleased with that. And if they have to delay again, fine. I'm appreciating the wave of responses to AAA games being delayed with God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West. I don't think that one got delayed, but we just don't have a date for it. But people are saying, take your time, get it right. Gotham Knights got delayed. I want to see good games come out when they're ready, not be rushed. Like looking at Avengers and Cyberpunk and a lot of the botched launches of last year. So I was pleased by a good way to start that show. And then they kept going. They really kept going. They showed Back 4 Blood, which turned a lot of people's heads. I was genuinely quite impressed with Back 4 Blood. What did you guys think?
Well, I have a question about Starfield. Because it hasn't been bashed in my skull just yet. Is it? Do you think it's coming to PlayStation 5? You think?
There's a chance.
I love that they literally, when they ended and Sarah Bond came out, and do we need to talk about Sarah Bond for a little bit? We could.
Oh my God, the thirst in public games. All right,
that was a private conversation.
A private conversation. Okay.
Anyway,
AIDS is attracted to Sarah Bond, so are we. Continue.
Yes, it's a unique situation, I'm sure. She was standing in front of the advertisement, and did you see how big Xbox exclusive was on that?
It was bigger than the font of Starfield.
It was.
So why are you even asking the question?
And the best part is, did you see Metro? It's a poor outlet from the UK, one of the clickbaity. But it comes out, it's like, might still come to PS5. It's like, Jesus, guys, like, can't you take a hint?
Yep. I just scrolled back and I'm looking at that exact part right now. And it's like, they didn't even put Sarah Bond in the middle of the frame. No, put her on the left. It's exclusive.
Exactly.
That's funny.
God, they spelled it out for you guys, so you still couldn't. No, Back for Blood is cool. I'm really psyched for that game. I want to know if it's crossplay, because though yes, it's day one in Game Pass, I will prefer to play that on my PlayStation.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't think they mentioned that, did they? Whether that's crossplay, I mean.
But like, if they do some really forward-thinking stuff. So like, if the party leader has the season pass or expansion pass, whatever. Everybody like will be able to enter that content with the party leader, which is awesome. That means
Fantastic.
I can make Luke buy all the expansions and I just join him.
Yeah, and I will.
Well, he gets it free on Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
but it's good for not splitting your player base when your entire game depends upon having a player base. Turtle Rock learned that with Evolve. I will plug the next upcoming episode of XEP. Because I talked to the guy who's making the Anacrusis, which is a first-person shooter fighting hordes of aliens. It's Left 4 Dead, and it's made by the guy who made Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. And he literally talks about the player base is so important to those games. Co-op games rely on that. And so to see Back 4 Blood going into Game Pass officially, to see that it's going to have a player base, they're not going to split it by what content you purchased and not. Very forward-thinking and likely is going to extend the life of that game pretty healthily, which I was quite pleased with. It really did look like Left 4 Dead 3, right?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah,
it really does.
It
It looks amazing. And sorry if you see me staring off. I'm literally trying to find anything from them on crossplay, but I can't find anything that's
I've not seen
it. But no, it looks great. And the whole Game Pass thing leaked ahead of the showcase as well, because they put up a YouTube video that you couldn't watch, but you can see the description, and it literally said coming to Game Pass October 12th.
Some poor intern had a rough day.
I know it's bad,
day.
But no, that looked fantastic, and I think again, the quality of that game, it's right in the heart of that season. To October 12th is an aggressive date, but if, as you said, it's on all platforms. If it does have crossplay, then this is going to be a big win. I mean, there's definite thirst for this game.
The other kind of two heavy hitters before we get to the meat of the show, Contraband is a new game out of Avalanche.
Which, by the way, just you saying that shows how much was in this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I don't say that lightly. Contraband's a new game out of Avalanche, which was the rumored acquisition that was going to happen. YouTubers, get a life.
What's better than 23 than 29?
Oh gosh, look at these insiders.
27.
It kills me. It kills me. These insider clickbaiting.
Oh, he's going on his rant. Get him. Get him.
The definitive edition. I hate it. And then Stalker 2, which looked good, but was I thought a very boring trailer. But I saw others very high on it. Yeah, I was not
Contraband?
impressed. No. I'm thinking about Stalker 2.
Stalker 2.
Oh, sorry.
Contraband. Real quick
Contraband
on
was
Contraband.
conceptual CGI.
I like that it said Xbox Game Studios in partnership. Whatever, we'll see if that means anything more, right? But I'm not a fan of that Contraband trailer in general, because it's an announcement without really saying anything. It said open world co-op, showed a guy working on a car, and then it was done. And it's like, you don't need to be in this showcase for that. You just don't. I think they did a good job of making it short as an announcement, but still, you've told me absolutely nothing.
Well, I think they had to do that, though, because that was the oft-rumored Project Typhoon, right?
Yes, it was.
And I think that's why they needed to get it in there. In a different show, I'd be upset. I'd be real upset. In a different show.
Believe me, I'm being nitpicky. The show was brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was the next one? I'm sorry.
Well, Stalker 2 was the one that I was just going to be like, I thought that was a really visually impressive trailer, but it was too long and a little slow. And it also looked like an upport of Metro Exodus, which makes sense given that they're spiritually successing one another. But I liked. I thought it was cool. But all of that was the preamble to when it really kicked off with what I would argue are my hype moments, and surprisingly, quite a few other people's. Sea of Thieves, which consistently has a huge audience, but not a lot of people think about it as being like a big game. Sea of Thieves had a huge announcement with a content drop in their season 3, a Pirate's Life, a crossover, a healthy, like meaty crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a match made in heaven. There's voice acting, there's cutscenes, there's all types of stuff happening. I know I lost my mind, as did several of my friends. It was healthy. I was impressed.
Now, my question is that really Johnny Depp or no?
No, it's a voice actor. Miles Dampier was dead set on it being Johnny Depp, and I was like, no way, dude, no way. But it's a good voice actor.
Apparently, Disney had to cut ties with him over the damn court case stuff with the lying
wife,
Amber Heard, who lied.
Yes.
So
anyway, apparently he can't. But it sounds like a good voice actor. Real quick, I know you guys want to talk about Sea of Thieves, which is great. Stalker 2, I'm going back to for 1 second. Have you watched it in the 4K trailer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's impressive. It's real impressive.
Yeah. To anybody that's listening, go back and do yourself a watch the 4K presentation on whatever the best resolution screen you have.
Yeah.
It's like a different conference.
It's night and day. It's night and day. Yeah. So anyway, Sea of Thieves, I'll be quick because I'm not nearly as big a fan as you guys. But one thing I want to point out with this, as you kind of alluded to, is this is one of those things where I watch it and I'm like, oh, okay. Like it doesn't do anything for me personally. But people have to realize just because you don't like it, as you alluded to, this is Sea of Thieves with Disney and Pirates of the Caribbean. This is a huge, huge thing. It's going to be millions of people that check this out. Never mind however many potential new people check it out because of this. So this was a huge announcement. I think some people glossed over it because it wasn't their hardcore thing, to your point, or whatever. But really, really big get.
So you and I play Sea of Thieves regularly. We saw this and lost our minds, but tell me your take on it now that we've had some time to cool off.
So Sea of Thieves looks like what we've all kind of wanted, right? Ever since like just starting up for the first time, you always think to yourself, man, wouldn't this be awesome if we saw Jack Sparrow or like the Black Pearl or any of that? Because like that's what I think a lot of us going into our pirate fantasies, that's the first thing that pops in our head. So seeing this, I'm over the moon excited. I'm all in. I want to see new enemies. We got them. I'm tired of whacking skulls with a sword. So let's do it, man. I'm really excited to play this, and it's as recording next week.
Yeah.
So it's something to get excited about very soon.
So one of the things that really struck me with this show, which they've gotten criticized for before, rightfully so, is that they did a really good job of having from the show content that literally drops next week, the week after the show, all the way through like the beginning of next year. And I don't mean like something in July and then something in January, right? They've literally got stuff lined up just ongoing. In fact, right after the show, and we're going to talk about a lot more games, of course, but they released 2 kind of roadmaps, if you will, of their releases. And at one point, they're releasing a new game to Game Pass like every 2 weeks. It's just there's an awful lot coming, and that's only Xbox, which is crazy to think about.
It's wild because we talked about them needing to make third-party deals until their full cadence comes up with Xbox Game Studios, and that's happening. Games big and small, and that was cool to see.
So I get a lot of things wrong. Let me toot my own horn for 1 second.
Okay.
Because you remember, like, a few months ago, we were talking either on this show or Bitcast or both, and we were talking. You guys were asking me about the path, the roadmap, if you would, of Game Pass and subscribers and content delivery. Okay. And I said at the time that with these studios and where they are, their path and their core tenet will be to release a major first-party game every quarter.
Yes.
And then fill it basically with other games in between. What did they come out this week and literally said when Phil Spencer and Satya started off the week? They said our path is to release a major first-party game every quarter.
You're right. I didn't think to include that in our discussion, but that did happen after last co-op. Cast co-op. Yes.
Yeah, it basically was the preamble to what we're talking about.
You're right. And that was, I thought, very endearing and a good way to kick off.
It was.
Off the show. You're right.
So, but anyway, sorry.
A last thing on Sea of Thieves, I think this is especially cool because it's a good amount of content. It's not like a one and done real quick thing, but it's a Disney partnership. And when you take that into account, and then you think about Indiana Jones, the potential of Star Wars, it's a nice match right there. And the player base of Sea of Thieves is big and growing bigger, which is really cool. So I think that's something to consider, is that Disney had to approve on this one. And that's just a talking point for down the road.
I think
Indiana, go ahead.
I think that's astute. Because that's one of the things that stuck out to me is, okay, they're literally putting Disney's name up on the screen, which they have to because they're using Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm sure there's contracts around that. But you can absolutely foresee with the way Microsoft is looking at gaming and Disney being as big and popular as they are right now, you can absolutely see Microsoft and Xbox working towards ongoing partnerships there with IPs. 100%.
Yep. Fully agree.
Honestly, and I hate because this will bring a fanboyish argument. I
thought PlayStation had more Joe. Let it go.
It's dead. Just kill it.
Just change it to the achievement room. We picked the name for you. Just move on.
No, honestly, I thought PlayStation had a little bit more time, and I did not think that the ball would roll so fast for Microsoft. Where like you said, like
we did talk about that, didn't we? That it felt like Microsoft still needed like another year before things started to kick off, but they're moving.
No, they're moving way faster than I think anybody gave them credit for. And yeah, like if I'm PlayStation and I'm sitting in the boardroom, I have to break a sweat at some point. You know, seeing this showcase was just top notch, man.
Their IP are still stronger. Are still stronger
for now.
But there's a future proofing being built into the Microsoft plan right now, which is fascinating. We talked about the meat of the Xbox show. What I've discussed thus far is the first 20 minutes. And I think that is crazy because I've got it up on my tablet as we talk right now. I'm going to skip over some Yakuza stuff that we saw. A really good Battlefield presentation. 12 minutes was shown. Psychonauts 2 was shown. Psychonauts 2 made an appearance 24 minutes in, just to again give you an idea of how much content was dropped.
Which if you like Psychonauts like me, because these guys don't, they did more on Psychonauts 2 today. Double Fine did an in-depth thing. So if you haven't seen that, it's out there. It's stunning, and that game's coming in August.
Yeah. It looks fun. I'm going to try it out for sure.
August was the name of the game right there because we have Psychonauts 2 is, I would say, the biggest one. Hades is also dropping in on Game Pass, which is incredible. I mean, that game is renowned. I've not played it myself. I'm quoting others, but it looks incredible.
I've been waiting.
Same. And 12 minutes, I believe, is also scheduled for August. August is packed with Game Pass games. Incredible. Only 3 of the games shown at the Xbox conference were not Game Pass, by the way. Battlefield was one of them.
Battlefield, Far Cry 6, and for God's sake,
Diablo.
Thank you. I was going to say, I've talked about this about 20 times so far. Yes, Diablo. But every other game is launching on Game Pass, which is nuts.
And it makes sense. Now, Joe, before we get to Halo, will you please do your Diablo voice just one more time?
What do you mean? Like this? Deckard Cain from Diablo. With my little niece, nephew, whatever the hell her name is, Leah. Spoiler alert, she's Diablo.
I love it so much.
How was that?
He's Deckard Cain, man.
Oh, I get it.
Right.
I get it. Are you guys Diablo fans or no?
A little. I dabbled here and there.
I like Diablo. I like Diablo 3.
I did not lose
no.
So
I just didn't lose my mind on it. I didn't get it. It didn't.
My mother didn't. So this is like my mother's peak Catholicism. So she would not let me buy this game as a kid because she saw Diablo and, let's be honest, the face of the devil on the cover, and she wouldn't.
I remember you mentioning that before. Yeah, but
not do it.
Regardless, Diablo 2 Resurrected is a massive release. Not just for Xbox, right, but for all platforms.
So is it, and I'm asking sincerely, is it really, or is it a lot for the people that make content because we're at this age?
No. It's a massive release.
It's going to be massive. All right, cool. I mean, I'm there for it. I think it looks cool. That looks like a fun game.
Yeah, Diablo's fan base is gigantic to begin with. Diablo 2 is considered by many, I'd say the majority of people, to be the ARPG GOAT. It's not just in Diablo, but all ARPGs ever made. Diablo 2 is the top. So people have been requesting this for more years than you can think. The fact that it's coming to all platforms, it has series next current console upgrades and 8-player co-op, which is the first for Diablo. This game will be huge. I promise you. There'll be millions of people playing it.
That is the game that I probably won't get to right away because it's such a packed season, but I'm all for it. Like, it looked good. Really and truly, it looked good.
Yeah, now it is very for people who are listening who maybe haven't dabbled or only played Diablo 3, it's very different from Diablo 3. It's much slower paced. It's methodical, old school ARPG. So if you're not into the kind of more plotting, sorting out your items type thing, then it's not for you. Yeah, I was going to say you have to. Then. Yeah, you have to set that expectation.
Huh. Okay. All right, gents. The big one.
Let's do it.
The big one. Halo Infinite. We said, we went on record, multiple shows we've talked about. Microsoft needed to reintroduce Halo Infinite for like the 4th time, and they needed to get it right. Because last year we saw a lot of good gameplay, but a lot of problems, and of course they were nitpicked to death. They came out, they had Bonnie Ross, they had Joseph Staten, they talked about what made Halo Halo, and they showed us some campaign stuff, explained a few things, and I would argue a very well explained way, and justified some canonical things, and then showed us the game. We saw the game. It wasn't forever, but it wasn't short either. And they transitioned from campaign to multiplayer in an awesome way. And while I'm a Halo fan, statues are all around me. I got the Mega Blocks next to me just to make this little bit because it's fun. Just flying around. It looked absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. If you go back to Joe's Twitch and watch our reactions, bless Joe's heart, because I was 10 seconds ahead of him, and I was not going to stop it at that point. I was losing my mind. It was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. This is everything we wanted. They've answered our prayers.
Everyone, we think it's everything we wanted.
I'm sorry. I was getting ahead of myself. I just saw through the future because I'm watching the trailer.
Same. Yeah, me too.
So I'm just like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this feels like Halo. But Luke, hear me out here. Mm-hmm. Seems like the combat has evolved.
Oh my God, you're right. There's a soul in this. Whereas we've been playing a lot of Halo 5, and mechanically it's so good, but it doesn't have the soul of Halo. And immediately you see it in these trailers.
Yeah. In just like I'm looking at the BR right now, and it's just like, man, that looks like straight up. They just ripped it from Halo 2. Like it just looks how I imagine it in my kid brain. And then, like, again, when I say combat evolved, we take a look at that hook shot, the grapple. That's gonna add a layer of verticality and balance between some of the vehicle play as well. Like that's going to be a power up that you get. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, let me go hunt down a Banshee that's been terrorizing my match for this game. I'm gonna hijack that Banshee. Like that's awesome. Or just like, there are sometimes, a lot of the times we'll all feel this, where we're hunkered down in like a behind a rock, and we got like a mile of road, a clear open road, and you got a scorpion right there aiming at you. This could be a thing where we could really play with the physics and really get to that vehicle a lot closer. Or a lot faster. So I'm really interested how this multiplayer is going to play, because I feel like they're playing with the physics of Halo like we haven't seen in a very long time.
Playing in a fun way. Like they're not just manipulating it to make a game, which is what Halo 5 felt like. They're playing here. And again, I'm watching watching it as we talk. The physics are insane. There's the soul of Halo in it. I will absolutely be playing with that grapple hook as many times as possible because it gives me Titanfall vibes. They doubled down on the multiplayer being free to play, and it just looks stunning. And their soul. I don't know, Ains, have you played Halo before?
You seem like a newbie to the series.
Yeah. There's so much that I could touch on here. When I was in a party chat, I'm weird with my big conferences. So my favorite ones have always been obviously Xbox, PlayStation.
Fanboy.
And so this was the big conference for me. The biggest thing of the conference is Halo, because it's my favorite franchise. And when this came on, I was in a party chat and I was like silenced. I muted everyone and turned it off. I was like, I need to be alone for this and watch it. And I was losing my damn mind. So if you remember on Bigcast, Luke, Cog asked, he said, what do you think they need to do to show well? And I think we all have our opinions. And I said, they need to show campaign. They need to reset the narrative. and they need to focus on this being Chief story at the head of it. And they need to let us know what narratively the direction the story is going. And I thought what they did very briefly in like 90 seconds with Chief and the new AI was set that up really well. And if you noticed, even the wording that Joseph Staten came out and said, he said, this is Chief's story. And he was very clear about it because people don't want to see Locke, right? And it's nothing against Locke. It's a bad character. He can't replace Chief and never will. So that was good. Then they get the multiplayer, and I was just in awe. And if you haven't watched the 15-minute overview they did the following day, go do it because it's amazing.
It's a great overview.
But there's so many aspects here, guys. Joseph Staten in the overview talked about getting back to the core, and what he means by that is arena as a mode, which is 4-on-4, map control, power weapon control, really the hardcore pro Halo play, right? That's where Halo, the core of Halo is. And then big team. And this was music to my ears, guys, because big team has always been my most fun play Halo mode. Because I usually play with friends, and a lot of my friends aren't the kind of hardcore about Halo like I am, so they're not ultra competitive. So arena can grind on them a bit after time because it's sweaty, right? Yeah. Whereas big team, you can kind of find a space, jump in a vehicle, have some more fun, right? So if you haven't seen the details on this, big team is going from 8-on-8 to 12-on-12. And for those who don't remember, Halo 5 launched without big team battle, which people like me really got on 343 about. The game mechanically, as you said, brilliant. But missing big team's bad. They finally brought it back, but there were no dedicated 343 designed big team maps. They were built out in Forge. So seeing big team in the multiplayer trailer with capture the flag and vehicle play and all these new abilities like reflecting shots off the shield and the grapple hook, and hearing the classic announcer is back as well. They brought them back when he grapples the wasp and it says grapple jack. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be doing that. Like, I don't even care how many times I die trying to do it. Every time someone's in a vehicle, I'm grappling to them. There's so much in that trailer that harkens back. You kind of touched on it, Luke, that harkens back to the memories we all have and the fun of Halo multiplayer. And it's beautiful. The armor designs are perfect. The customization of your character they got into in the overview the next day. That's incredible. You should see like how detailed you can get with it and how much you can change. And like I said, guys, I could go on forever, but this is like Halo fans' dream come true. 343 is literally nailed every aspect of what I wanted, and I know many people wanted out of them for this game. And assuming it launches well, doesn't have server issues, all the normal stuff we all talk about, it does that. This is going to be a massive, massive game.
Yeah. In watching back, I'm watching it right now, and in-game cuts, in-game footage, in-game engine stuff, all that. No pop-in, very clean, very detailed, and suggestive that we're going to have a lot of different biomes by way of that Zeta ring. Yes, and I would argue that we maybe venture beyond that ring as well, canonically, which I think opens up a lot of story ideas. Now, this is Chief's story. We know the campaign will be there. We know the multiplayer is free. If they choose to expand in the story aspects of it, I think they could venture out and do some things with Noble Team or with some of the other Halo stories that there are to tell, because it looks to me like Infinite is very much a foundation to be built on for years. And I'm thrilled by that.
They've literally said that. They said that Infinite took so long to build with the new engine and everything because Infinite is our platform moving forward. This is the story we're playing in the fall is the continuation of the Reclaimer saga, which was the next trilogy, right? But 100% agree with you. There's so much they can do. They have the new engine foundational built now. They have the platform built. Now they can just add layers of story, and there's so much canon and lore to build off of in Halo's universe. The possibilities are really endless.
To any Halo fans listening, recommend you read Shadows of Reach. I know that reading's silly and I get made fun of for doing it, but Shadows of Reach really touches on why Noble Team would be in the promotional images. It makes sense, which is cool also. And also, I get a kick out of these people that are like, The new Cortana is not actually named Cortana. It doesn't matter. It's new Cortana. Like, yeah, they should name the weapon or something. Like, she's got a name, but it's new Cortana. Everybody.
It's gonna be really interesting to see what they do with that. Yeah.
Did anybody notice? I mean, how they're trying to remove, like, make all of their female characters not look feminine? It's just crazy. Did you guys see this? I can't believe it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Jacket. She should be naked. Like, come on.
You didn't see the same.
It's just the outrage of the day.
Yeah, yes. This was people. The same people that were mad about Aloy being older were mad that Cortana looked like a human being this time, as opposed to like some faux. It was ridiculous.
Come on.
I think this game looks gorgeous. The reflections look amazing, and I really 4K. Hope multiplayer does well. Yeah,
the 4K trailer. And on, not to jump ahead, but on the extended showcase today, as we record this, that was on Thursday. They had Quinn and two other guys I'm going to forget the names of from 343 out there talking about it today, giving even more details of the game.
Had a cool jacket. I want his jacket.
Oh, it's Quinn's jacket. Yeah, no doubt.
I want that jacket.
But they're just, the details that they're talking about are just, this game is going to consume my life, guys.
It's going to be really cool to see how it's received by not us during this fall when you have Call of Duty and Battlefield, and so Back 4 Blood will be out, and so many other games.
I am surprised that game didn't track higher.
I saw that. Yeah, Forza was tracking the highest.
Blew my mind.
Forza Horizon 5 tracked the highest.
That means Halo's dead.
Forza's trailer was absurd. How good it was. But no, I agree with you. I do. I don't know why that is. It's going to be interesting to see, but I can tell you in my personal opinion that because it's free to play and it's on PC and Xbox at launch, this is going to be a snowball effect. As soon as it launches and word spreads that, hey, Halo, you can go play it right now. It's going to be interesting. And I tweeted out the other week, which blew up around Battlefield being $70 multiplayer only, which feels weird in a world where Halo is going to be free to play, Warzone's free to play, Apex is free to play, Fortnite's free to play. And I'm very curious, as popular as Battlefield is, and I'm in on Battlefield. But I'm very curious to see how that lasts or sustains compared to all the free to play shooters.
Battlefield looks dope.
It does.
This had me thinking, do I need Battlefield? And that's a cool feeling,
You're 100% true, because we all know too, Halo is a competitive game. Battlefield is chaos. And you can have fun in Battlefield even if you're not really good, because there's so many different ways to approach the game. If you want to be good at Halo Infinite, it's going to take dedication and time of playing. And if you're one of those people that kind of just jumps in whenever, you're not going to be very good at it because it is a competitive game. And I just know I wonder
if free to play changes that. And there's a more approachable set of playlists. Thinking about Warzone is kind of how I'm thinking about this. Like,
maybe
Call of Duty used to be very sweaty, and now I think the free to play elements might have changed it. Maybe, and I'm spitballing. Yeah. But whatever it is, the Halo it looks sharp, not just for people like us. And that was cool.
And it has to be for people not just like us.
Yeah.
It has to be. So it's lot of ifs and thens. I think no matter what, as gamers, we all win, because look at the variety in competitive games and shooters and everything that we're getting for the rest of the year and into 2022. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, from Halo, we saw a lot of games just hit one right after the other. Games that were small indie stuff to the next step of what Obsidian's Grounded is, and they had a hilarious trailer, which I thought was really funny.
That was honestly my trailer show.
Yeah,
I love that trailer. Yeah, because it just mocks what E3 really is at the end.
No, you're thinking of Outer Worlds. You're thinking of Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Did I say Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
I thought I said Obsidian's Grounded. Maybe I said Outer Worlds. I'm sorry. I was talking about Grounded. The one that had they turned off arachnophobia.
Yeah,
that was turned funny. On. That was what I was referring to. I'm sorry if I missed
shit out of us.
But then they showed some other stuff, and I'm just quick scrolling a couple of indie titles. A game called Shredders, which I really thought looked cool.
I'm actually big on that.
Shredders. Yeah, you want to talk about Shredders? Heck yeah.
Let's talk for a second, because for the OG Xbox guys, Amped and Amp 2 were very popular games. And snowboarding games with your friends can be very fun, because it's just a bunch of you going down a mountain doing tricks and, having fun. And this looks really cool. And actually in their YouTube description, it literally says inspired by games like Amped, cool. Which is really cool. So I thought that was a neat little plug. And I think the reason that was in there, if you're not aware, is Phil Spencer is a very big snowboard fan. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was like, okay, here's a little indie dev we could spotlight real quick for a cool snowboarding game.
Yeah. I liked the zen vibe of that trailer.
Yeah,
really zen. I'm looking at it right now and I feel tranquil.
If they showed the multiplayer, there's like several people going down. I'm like, dude, that'd be a blast. And again, it's Game Pass.
Yeah. Type the audio in on that one, Joe, and you'll really feel the zen. It's quite good. They're gonna come on XEP in a couple months. Yeah, we talked to them today at the time of recording. They're gonna come on XEP, which I'm excited about.
Do an XEP. So sick of it.
I was happy for you.
Thank you, Ains. I appreciate you being supportive, Mr. Bad Take over there. Again, Grounded looked good. Replaced looked like a really cool indie title. I'm gonna kind of speed through. We saw some Euclidean Chronicles. This is JRPG Love, some Age of Empires.
Age of Empires looks awesome. There you go.
I'm trying to scroll through this because we're at 55 minutes of this show. But
we literally used half of it just to gush about Halo and the other half to gush about.
Were you guys and like I said, I watch it myself, so I wasn't watching any of your reaction stuff on it. But were you guys like us in the party chat where we were like, it was like halfway through because it's a 90-minute show, right? It was at like 45 minutes, and I'm looking at my clock and I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're only halfway done.
Yeah. Kyle Stevenson made that comment from the trophy room. He made that exact comment.
Yeah, I'm like, good God, man, they're crushing it. Like I couldn't believe what was unfolding in front of my eyes.
And again, pacing, because usually that would be like, oh my God, we're only 40 minutes in. I got more. It's like, holy shit, we got 40 minutes and there's more to go. Like that is,
and it didn't slow down.
No,
they did a good job of mixing what people wanted. You know, like they showed a game that was for me, and then a game that was like maybe for me, Game Pass, I'll try it, and then a game that wasn't, and then a game that was for me again. And they consistently had that rhythmic appearance of a game that was interesting for me and diversified it for people that weren't. And
there was something for everyone. It was very well organized.
Well, to that exact point, I mean, Microsoft Flight Simulator is the next like heavy hitter in the show, and that's coming out in July on consoles. Stunning trailer, like better than I remember seeing it a year ago for PC. Stunning trailer. They got me real good with that Top Gun chime, which to this day will shut my heart down and I will get pumped. They got some Top Gun DLC coming in. And then today during the extended showcase, they talked about what I would call more arcadey modes coming to Flight Simulator that made me think, oh, Joe would download this. Luke would download this. Whereas never, like, this Flight Simulator is a game that I'm going to ooh and ah for my tablet and never play until I see some of these elements coming in. And I was like, all right, you know what? Maybe I will fly this to that. I thought that was a good way to bring people like myself in and blend the arcade.
I'll never download it, but I'm happy it's there.
I'm going to try it. They had on the extended today that I think the game director, one of the guys, and he did make clear that there's new assists, there's new training modules in the console version, but they haven't dumbed it down. You still have to treat it like a flight sim. And kind of what I'm hoping for selfishly was that they had a controller layout that just made it like 6 buttons. You know what I mean? But it doesn't sound like they've done that. So we'll see. I would like to enjoy it and just kind of have one of those games where you have a cup of coffee and just fly around, goof off. But I don't know. Dan always says it's one of those games you play for 5 minutes, look at it and be like, okay, that was cool.
Yep.
But
after Flight Simulator, then we saw what I thought were pictures and videos of Mexico. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not blowing smoke. I saw some of the most beautiful graphics I've ever seen when they showed Forza Horizon 5. This was on par with the Unreal 5 demonstration that PlayStation did about less than a year ago. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Better than that, let's be real.
Was it better than that?
I think so.
It's better than that because it's real. It's a game.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, fair. But I meant like in terms of like how I was like, whoa, that's
visually.
Whoa.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Games shouldn't look this good. It's just wild to me. We saw every biome there. Mexico looks like it's a great choice for a game.
Yes.
Which I know some people were worried about, and I understand people being worried when they don't know. And then they really just proof in the pudding. Those cars look beautiful.
So I knew this was coming.
Who?
when Flight Sim came up, I thought it was. I was like, oh, here's Forza finally. And then Flight Sim was beautiful, and then you could hear the Forza Horizon has that kind of electronic festival vibe, right? So the music kind of kicked in, and you saw it. I was like, all right, here we go. And not only was it blowing my mind during the live stream, that was the 1080p stream.
Yes.
If you watch it in 4K, specifically the one on the river, which everyone has been showing on social media since, and it just sits there, and it looks like you're literally watching a live feed of Mexico.
Yes.
And then it just pans, and the cars just come in, and you're playing. I'm like, holy shit! Like, to your point, Luke, it should not look that good. And the fact that they recorded all this live scenery and foliage, the live areas in 12K, which they talked about previously, they had the capability to do, and then kind of obviously, filtered it down for 4K is just, it's staggering to me, man. I mean, that game was already beautiful. This looks to set a new tone altogether. And let's not forget, the graphics are only one aspect. They showed some really cool multiplayer modes, and it looks like Forza has freaking Forge now. You literally can create your own games for fun, which is amazing. So this game's just another huge winner.
I'm very happy they went with Horizon again rather than Motorsport. I will say though, not to totally blow this game, the cars look great. I'm not here to say anything negatively, but that's when I look at the cars, I'm like, oh, this is a video game. Like, there's a couple of stills that'll trick me for sure. But when I'm looking at those cars, I'm like, all right, we're in a video game.
Fair.
The photogrammetry works for
fair,
photogrammetry works for the environments really well, but I understand
the lighting is incredible in this game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the cool thing is they said in Forza Vista mode, which a lot of people have asked what that is. So Forza Vista is the mode where you can walk around the car, get in it, start it, open the hood, and do photos, right? That has full ray tracing implementation as well.
Nice.
So those photos that you see people make of cars and stuff are going to look beyond ridiculous. I mean, they'll probably trick some people.
That's awesome.
Thinking they're real.
Now put a DeLorean in the game.
Well, that car's a piece of junk in real life.
I sat in one and it blew my mind.
Yeah, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, and they're worth a lot of money. But segue real quick. True story. When I was in LA 3 years ago for work, there's Peterson Auto Museum out there. It's fantastic if you're a car person. One of the best car museums in the country. They have a vault you have to pay extra to get a tour of.
Vault, you say?
A vault.
Got excited.
Where they have very, even more unique cars that are like crazy, right? And down there, they have one of the 3 ever made 24-karat gold DeLoreans.
Huh.
Instead of the the stainless steel body, it's literally gold.
That's
cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is cool.
They had Elvis's car. It's a one of one. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is in the vault down there.
That's neat.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So
I'm surprised Luke doesn't know more.
Because it's Vault. He's saying Vault Boy.
Oh,
Vault Boy.
I'm slow tonight, guys. I didn't even pick up on that.
It's all right. It's all right. Listen. We got to hurry up with these shows. Xbox was good. We liked it a lot.
Well, we got a release date for Forza Horizon.
Okay.
November 9th. We didn't get a release date for Halo.
Yeah.
That's for holiday. That was interesting to me. They finished up with Redfall, which we thought was very, very promising from Arcane. Looked real good. Did not on paper, Luke's not excited about a vampire game. They put that goddess of a character in front of me and then had the vampire stuff and all that. I was like, yep, I'm in.
Arcane, man. One of my favorite studios. The details that have come out about it since the showing are incredibly promising. They said it's an entire island and you can explore the island in Arcane fashion, which is amazing because you think of Dishonored, you think of Prey, etc. I'm super pumped for this game. You can play it single player, you can play it co-op. I'm pumped, man. Between Deathloop and now Redfall, as usual, Arcane killing it.
Yeah, I'm glad that the internet has allowed us to thirst over Layla. So that's all I gotta say.
She became a hit right away. Yeah,
she cute. What an attractive pixel.
Yes,
and polygon and whatnot. But yeah, no, I'm in. Like, this game looked cool. I understood class-based, it seems co-op infused Arcane game and it's open world. Yeah, sign me up. Arcane's great. And during the show, I've made note, man, Playground's so talented, Arcane's so talented, right? Obsidian's so talented. Xbox has the suite. They have the family of all these super talented studios now that I'm really happy to see where Microsoft is now. And yeah, they single-handedly stole the show.
They finished the show in exactly the way I believe I put in multiple of our predictions and talked about. I needed them to remind us of all the stuff that we're not seeing at that show.
Yeah, I gave you credit for that. When it was happening, I said, this is exactly what Luke wanted to see.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, they pinged up there all the stuff that they talked about. Fable. They showed Avowed and all the things that were on course for Xbox, but that didn't need to be shown at the showcase. And that was great. Yeah. So all in all, I mean, we've waxed poetic about this particular conference because it was deserving of that. It was on par with was it the 2016 PlayStation 1, Joe, that just blew it away? Which one blew it away?
I believe it's 2016.
There was one that was great, and then there was one where they played a flute. So not the flute.
Yeah, it was either 15 or 16. I know the one you're talking about. I never thought that show was that great personally, but that's not to take anything away from PlayStation. They've had some incredible shows.
Sure.
This was up there. I thought this was one of, if not the best Xbox show they've ever done.
Yes. Agreed. Heavy hitters, well paced, not a ton of talking in the wrong ways. It was awesome.
Yeah. The right people. It was short when they spoke. It was meaningful. Yeah. It was, there's like, I hope they see all this feedback and say, okay, here's how we have to do it from now on. Just follow this format. Yes. You don't need to change it.
Yeah, don't try to reinvent the wheel, Microsoft.
Right here.
You have it.
Yep.
We'll see how they handle a live audience next year. Very differently than the Xbox showcase. Right after was Square Enix Presents. And I will not spend a long time on this one, but it's worth bringing up because they talked about the new Guardians of the Galaxy game, which I was very down on, as I believe was Joe. And everybody else on the internet seemed to be really excited about. Kind of threw me for a loop. They briefly showed the Avengers campaign expansion, War for Wakanda, which I've told you guys, look at you both not even paying attention, told you guys was supposed to be their Taken King. Yeah. It was a terrible presentation.
Was it?
Of what was supposed to be great news. Now, the community for Avengers, really high on this stuff. A lot of good stuff happening there. They really might have a chance to save this game if they care to, and they get in there. Joe's saying no, our friend, like, whatever. Like, I'm not here to argue that one way or the other. But it really went to show me in that day for something I was very excited about. How you present and how you give information makes all the difference.
Matters. Absolutely.
The difference.
Is that expansion free?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the monetization model of Avengers is very strange, hard to explain. Elements of it are very fair. Elements of it are very predatory.
Okay.
And it's just odd.
Yeah.
Because it's a looter shooter. And Square Enix, remember, Outriders, Avengers, and they did one other that just had a botched launch.
Yeah.
And it's odd. It's odd. They're a weird company, man. I can't seem to figure them out.
Yeah, kind of all over the place. Yeah, the Xbox show was crazy. And then they had kind of a quick post-show thing, and I was trying to write and talk to people, and it was just too busy, so I didn't watch Square Enix live. But as I'm doing all this other stuff, everyone I talked to was like, "Oh my god, this Square Enix show is atrocious." The one thing I brought up on some show, and I've done too many lately, I can't remember it. I want to get your guys' feelings on now that we're on Square Enix. Is they showed Babylon's Fall, which apparently showed really poorly, and then they released the Final Fantasy Origin, which is kind of like the Team Ninja. They call it Souls-like for the demos out on PS5, and I've seen footage, and a couple friends have played it and said it's not good. And I said this the other day, and I don't mean to be controversial with it, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, is that it feels like, I said it on Backlog Chronicles. So shout out to Mo and Backlog Chronicles. With a lot of these Japanese developed games, they just feel like they're not innovating anymore.
Yes.
It feels like they've gotten very comfortable with the same kind of storylines, the same music tracks, the same, oh God, the world's going to die and you're the hero who has to save everything. Everything's always very overly dramatic.
Wowzers.
Yeah, for the same thing. Like, you can be dramatic about stuff, but it's always the same synopsis. And then the gameplay it's either hack and slash or it's this old style turn-based RPG. It just feels very stale to me. And none of these games that I can think of, like Elden Ring's the exception, right? Like, we'll leave from Miyazaki, you do your thing.
Man on a pedestal.
Yeah, no one's talking about you. You're excluded. But all these other ones just feel so stale. There's just nothing that feels exciting like it used to when we were kids, and Japanese developers were just breaking boundaries everywhere.
Yeah.
That's just
I think
me.
you're right, dude. No, I think you're right. And I think it's just those games don't speak to us.
And that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
That being said, there's also, I think it's kind of evident when you see people like PlayStation just outright drop PlayStation Studios. Or sorry, PlayStation Japan Studios, right? Like,
Japan,
because like the games aren't hitting anymore like they used to. And I think they lean so much into the names, like a Nomura, or the guy that was Sega, I forget.
Yuji Naka.
Yeah, Yuji Naka.
Yeah, he made the Balan game. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's him.
Again, stuck in the past, right?
Again,
they're stuck on legacy, I think.
Yeah.
And so, like, just a brief synopsis of Square. Guardians I watched again in 4K, and the actual non-DMCA version showed a lot better. Still not sold on that game. Avengers, they're killing that game. Once they're done with this slate, this roadmap, I'm here to tell you that game, they are working on Avengers 2, and that's it. Just by the look of that trailer and how god-awful put together and slapped together that was.
For Guardians, you mean?
Yeah. No,
I watched the trailer
for Avengers. For
Avengers.
I don't think it was slapped together.
Oh, I think it was. That was like less than like 3 minutes.
I don't think you were watching it the way that you should have been.
How do you? How should you watch it?
I'm curious to hear this conversation. Let's hear it, guys.
No, because I'm looking at it through an open mind. I'm looking at it through the lens of a person walking into Destiny with the Taken King. They took their time to present that game, that trailer. They showed you a set piece that was like this villain that, holy crap, like they're getting there.
Okay.
Here, it's just like, look at Black Panther. Oh, this is Scar, whatever that guy's name is, Claw. It's like now he's a kaiju, and it's like, bam, it's it, and we're fighting robots again. Okay, bye.
Okay, so you are correct.
You are
correct.
Okay, yeah, please leave.
You're good.
You don't want any of this.
We were talking about two different things.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was slapped together. I think it was very poorly presented and did nothing to bring new players in.
Exactly.
Which when you have that, so I think we were just talking about two different things though. And when you have a game that's dying, you need to bring players in. And they did a terrible job at it. And a lot of the good info came out on Twitter. That's not where good info is supposed to be, Square Enix.
Right.
It's supposed to be in your presentation. Instead, I had to watch Star-Lord shoot a cube of Jello for 20 minutes.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is like, why couldn't you condense the Guardian stuff and then give us a 10 minutes here? Black Panther, this update is here they got 2 months, right? Why did you give them a less than 2-minute trailer to present that update? And this is supposed to be the thing that's substantial, that's going to help reinvigorate this game. Unless you really don't have faith in it anymore because you're on to the next project, which from what everyone is kind of signaling is exactly what this is. Now, when I say that, I think it's going to be an Avengers 2 as a reboot of what was this game, taking what did work here and then applying it to a sequel that people were going to care about because they're going to learn. But I don't know, like the way that they presented this and the way that they presented Guardians was poor. And then going into their legacy with the Final Fantasy 1 through 6, I have no idea about nothing. But to see like Kyle's hopes
I know,
crushed. It's like reality's often disappointing. Yeah.
Destroyed it. Why would you bring... Go ahead.
And then like Life is Strange is like, I get it because it's bringing another audience in, but like it's pretty much a shot for shot retelling of like, this is Life is Strange. Okay, here it is, another like 10-minute thing. It's just that conference needed to die in a fire. And also chaos. Like, oh God, I think I turned it off by then. Origins. Yeah, that and I played the demo and it plays like a PS3 game. It looks like a PS3 game. Babylon's Fall, I think they're going to go back to the drawing board in terms of that art style. Because they said the art style they wanted to go for was like a European oil painting. And you got me there because it looks like you smeared oil all over the shit. I can't see a goddamn thing. It's like I got glaucoma. It's like I'm like my goddamn grandma staring at this thing.
Put Vaseline on your screen.
Right, I gotta look this up again.
Trust me, it looks bad. I really do think they're going to change up that art style. They need to, and that's a live service game from Platinum. That looks
that's bad.
Platinum
it looks like
is a weird dev, man. They've
weird.
had a few hits, but God, they shit the bed here and there pretty badly.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we were going to see them at Nintendo. Isn't Platinum making Bayonetta 3?
Supposedly, that's
supposedly.
My point. They seem like a very poorly managed studio.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's just no one knows what's going on with that.
I agree.
And so that's Square. We really don't need to waste any more time on that.
No, we don't. It's just a big contrast between the two. There were other like little shows here and there, but Nintendo was the big one.
Yeah.
That kind of
spoiler alert. Nobody wants to give Randy Pitchford a high five.
Nobody. He's just the worst. He hurts that company and those hardworking developers every time he's on screen.
Could you imagine being one of those devs and be like, Randy's going to present for us, and you're just sitting there like,
it sucks.
I said this.
Those developers work so hard. Their game is good. I mean, I'm not into Borderlands 3, but it's good. It's well made. It's well managed. What Randy Pitchford hurts that company so much.
He is the Michael Scott of video games. He really is.
At least Michael Scott was funny.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. He's just
My cat
terrible.
has joined the show, by the way.
Oh, what up, Ains Cat?
That's Darwin.
Oh, Darwin. Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't name him Ains Cat. That would have been weird.
All right. So let's talk Nintendo. First, gents, did you guys watch this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched it on Joseph's stream, and I have thoughts about it, but I would like for one of you guys to jump in first.
Ains, you go for it because I want to.
I'm negative on it, so you guys can try and bring me up.
Oh, no, you're screwed.
This show was terrible. I really thought this show was terrible, for a couple reasons. One, rehash content, and I'm tired of seeing it. From Nintendo. I've ranted before about them being in their highest profit margins in company history. Tremendous amounts of revenue, more revenue than Xbox right now. And yet, what are we seeing from them? Nothing. We just continue to see rehash content. Super Monkey Ball, for instance, they make a big deal about that. It's all the levels and content from the games that came out 15 years ago. Mario Party All-Stars, Superstars, excuse me. Your favorite 5 levels from our N64 games. What are you doing? What are you doing? They're like, what's the other one? Fatal Frame. I got excited for a second. Oh, Fatal Frame's back. Cool. Oh, it's the 2014 Wii U game that they've changed the controls for. The whole show was like that. Everyone's like, oh, Advance Wars is coming. It's not coming. It's been here. Now you can play it on a new system. Yeah. And it's ports, remasters, remasters. Everyone knew Breath of the Wild 2 was going to be there. Fair. Mm-hmm. And that game's going to drop like a megaton. Of course, It's a mainline Zelda game. And nothing wrong, in my opinion, with what they showed from it. It's not
officially 2022?
Yes, 2022. No date, just 2022.
Horizons this year, baby.
Yep. They show a Zelda Game & Watch. Again, cool collectible. People are going to love it. I get it. It's $70 for 4 games that came out 30 years ago. It's just very weird to me. There's very little innovation. Oh, and of course, Metroid Dread is taken over because it's a 2D Metroid, the first one in 19 years, I think they said. Yep. Which is one, terribly sad. And 2, because you forget that like Super Metroid is quite literally one of the best games of all time. But Metroid Dread, if you're not aware, and I know many people aren't, because every time I say this, people are like, wait, what? They think it's this brand new IP, a new Metroid game. It's a game that was canceled in 2007. Literally, you can go back and Per Schneider, the head of IGN, posted, we covered this game in 2007.
There's an Easter egg about it in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
You can literally go up to a panel and find it's a Metroid Dread.
Okay, Metroid Dread. And it's not being developed by Nintendo. It's being developed by... It's not. It's being developed by a third party who's only made games for every system, every platform.
Question.
Go for it.
Isn't again, because I'm watching, the reason why I'm so positive is like, oh, I'm not a dumb weeb. I bet these kids are loving this. This is fine, but not for me. When it comes to Metroid, words. Isn't that game made by Retro Studios, right?
Metroid Prime is.
Metroid Prime is.
That's
Prime
kind
is
of
first person.
Yeah, and it's kind of a, they're kind of managed by Nintendo. Sorry.
But they're not owned by Nintendo, right?
It's like
not really.
Party.
It's one of those second party kind of things. Yeah.
So I don't see the problem with Metroid Dread.
No, it's not necessarily a problem. My problem is that people see Metroid, they see the name, right? And you get 30 seconds of, in my opinion, what was crappy footage. Let's be honest. Go back and look at that.
No. Yeah, the CG was real bad.
And who was it? Chris Johnston, our friend.
Yeah,
he posted how bad it was and broke down the trailer. There's like music that cuts out at parts. It's, it's a mess. My point being is that, okay, trust me, if there's a solid new Nintendo Metroid 2D game, I'm all about it. I'd love it. This doesn't look like it. If it is, I'll say I'm wrong and I'll be happy. I'll buy it and love it. But my point being, Nintendo to me has turned into a snake oil salesman, and it drives me crazy because I love Nintendo and grew up loving Nintendo. But we're just, again, back to the innovation. They're not showing me anything huge, first party kind of new ideas. Think, what from Nintendo did we get new out of that conference?
Fair. Nothing other than this game. And you're telling me it's a DS game.
So that's what I mean. It's not really Nintendo. Not core first party. Like, where's Metroid? He said Metroid Prime 4 we're working on. Okay, you've been working on for 3 years. You still got nothing to show. And you got Breath of the Wild 2, which we already knew about, which is further back now.
The thing that frustrated me most, when I saw Metroid Dread, my heart skipped a beat and I got so excited because I adore Metroid Prime trilogy. I adore the GBA games, Fusion, and
some good games. Real good
fantastic. I love the 2D Metroids. I got so excited, and then reality kind of set back in. There's no way to have this on just one place. There's no way to play all the Metroid Primes. There's no way to play all the 2D Metroids in one spot right now. You need to have a DS to play the remake of Metroid Prime or Metroid 2. You need to have a Wii U so you can have your virtual console. And my point is, I am now at a point where I'm so spoiled by Xbox's backward compatibility program, to a lesser extent, even Sony's ability to get their properties available for you to play in some way, that Nintendo has just burned me. I want to play Metroid Dread. I really do. Am I going to really boot up my Switch in August, October, whenever this game is? Am I really going to do that next to all the other good games when I feel like it's a rushed port job or a rushed put together thing?
Yeah.
Rehash is a good way to put it. I don't think
honestly, I'm looking at the gameplay, guys. And here's the thing, I'm not a Metroid fan.
Whoa.
This would be my first Metroid ever.
You saying that's more controversial than me shitting on their conference.
Yeah. So this is my first one, and so I'm looking at the 2D gameplay. I'm like, this is cool. This looks genuinely I will boot up my Switch for this.
Okay,
that's fair. Looking at it, because everybody sold me on Returnal is Metroid for the most part, and I'm like, I really loved Returnal, so there's a good chance I'm gonna really love this game. Looking at the gameplay, I'm on board with it.
Have you played Axiom Verge?
I have not. Everybody has me for that too.
Okay, that's what you should play.
That's literally Metroid 3, 2D.
That will tell you if you want this game.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, Luke, and I don't know about you, but the way they set it up, like Dread, right? And they show her, Samus running from, enemies a few times. I'm like, okay, so Metroid has always been, and that's where the damn phrase Metroidvania comes from, right? It's been about exploration, discovery, finding new abilities, and then with those new abilities, discovering new paths you couldn't go through before. Does this still have that, or is this more of a action / runner game where you're having to escape enemies? Because that's not really what Metroid at its core is about. So I need to see more. I need to see this game, what its core is, because I know everyone's excited 2D Metroid and I want to be, but I'm looking through the glass and I'm not really liking what I'm seeing right now.
Well, to any listener watching right now, tell me if I'm off.
Has been purchased. It's only $7. So
excellent.
Nice,
excellent. Dude. I hope you love it, man. It's a great game. To any listener that's watching right now, tell me if I'm off my rocker, because when I saw the Dread trailer, I saw that Samus is fighting the bad guys, or no, fighting the bots from Recore, which I was like, oh, look at that. It's a dog from Recore. But then there were no mention of the space pirates or Ridley or any of the of Dark Samus, of anything that was from the lore of the old games, but also made those games special. Samus is a bounty hunter.
Again,
where was that?
You're making my point for me. This looks like a different take on it, and I don't know, between the different take and the different developer, it's like, are fans really getting the 2D Metroid we think in our heads that we're getting because we're so starved for Metroid?
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, I want the audience to check us on this, Ains, because we're riding high on those two Xbox showcases we got, because the extended one, which we won't talk about today, but it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then the Nintendo one, I thought so bad, but maybe it's not for me, but I really felt like it disappointed. And I think part of it, and I've said this too, is, I don't mean to be overly harsh, although I think it's deserved. I did see people excited about playing these different games like WarioWare and, some of these other things. I know people are excited for Advance Wars to come back or be on the Switch, and that's great. I mean, if you like this, there's games in here you're looking forward to, by all means. I'm happy. That's great. It's just, I have to be careful and just say, I didn't think it was a good conference, but at the same time, I know some people did, and it's just not for me.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Whew.
Joe, I thought you were a little higher on it. Was there something that you were really kind of struck with you?
So I really liked Metroid.
Okay.
And you guys are trying to kill my buzz, and I won't let you do that. And then like Mario Golf looked pretty fun. I know people are naysaying that because apparently that doesn't look as good as something. Wario was a game that I was like, I hate Wario. I think he's a dumb character. I think all his games are bad. I hate these little micro games. I hate them, but I understand that it has a huge allure that is just outside my radar. Same with Shin Megami Tensei, whatever. I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know that game's huge. So I just know it's not for me. Yeah. So a lot of these games I looked at, I'm like, okay, I know that these are going to excite a lot of fans out there, and I just know it's not for me. And when it comes to like the Ubisoft stuff, like looking at Mario plus Rabbids 2, like, oh dude, so like I'm getting that game. So
yeah,
like there are 2 or 3 games here that I'm walking out of either excited or I'm going to be getting them day one.
Mario Rabbids 2, we didn't mention that, by the way. That does look cool.
It looks stellar, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good show for me. If I see 2 games out of a 40-minute show that I know I'm going to buy day one, that's awesome. And then coupled with Legend of Zelda, which I want to get your quick thoughts on, because the trailer didn't give us anything other than what I think me and Kyle were excited about. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever they're going to be calling it, is coming out 2022.
Yep.
So, Gorilla, look at me. You're free. Land it right into November.
No,
you're free.
Don't.
You're free to land.
Not
Please
November.
Don't.
Go for it.
Please don't.
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West can be better than Breath of the Wild 2 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It would be, but again, like I want a fair fight between these games that are coming out this year. Zelda's gonna win Game of the Year because it's just Zelda, and that's the bias is real, folks. I don't believe
in bias in a lot of cases when they say media bias and all this stuff. I really, really do believe that Zelda gets a pass for its name on a lot of things.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, okay, now I think that like if I'm Papa Sony, I'm just breathing a sigh of relief, and I'm like, we can land this plane here. This is gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fine showcase.
I've ranted about Breath of the Wild way too many times. I won't do that here. Did you notice? Because I noticed, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm crazy or remembering wrong. But then Dan mentioned it, and someone else DM'd me about it too. Then that final scene of Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, when they show the castle descending with the red, around it, that map, the world, it's the exact same world as Breath of the Wild 1. And so that's now led to speculation of like, okay, is there like something, is this like a Majora's Mask type thing or some type of other situation where they've modified something's going on, but it's the same game world?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I guess we'll see more. But that if that happens, then I'm gonna have to do my own YouTube rant entirely. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's June 17th at the time of this recording. We just saw E3. We're halfway through the year. What's your game of the year expecting to be when the time comes? What are you thinking?
Critically or personal?
Do both. Let's do both, actually.
Okay.
If you had to anticipate.
Personal, it's going to be Halo Infinite.
Okay.
It's not even going to be close.
All right. Personal for you, Joe?
That's just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
That's gonna be that's hard because like Halo looks phenomenal, Horizon looks phenomenal.
Are you still on this Horizon 2021 train, aren't you?
It's coming out. Like I'm. You gotta have faith. And I believe in my heart of hearts, I did play a perfect game that was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So and Ains gave
personal. What is it? So. What is your personal one?
I want Halo, just because Halo. You know what? It's been since Halo 3 that's been like, oh my god, this is my game of the year. Slap of the roof of the car, like this is it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want that. I want 343 to get the win. I feel like they've been wanting for over a decade now, right?
Yeah. So. Same. Ains, we can see the reflection of your computer in the SG thing. You really got to stop looking at those sites during the.
Jesus,
it's unprofessional.
I'm on Twitter. What are you talking about?
Critically
is that
speaking,
what you call it? Is that what you call it? Very unprofessional.
My personal was Halo Infinite as well. I think that'll be my personal one. Critically, I'm stuck between the two Horizons, Forbidden West or Horizon 5, Forza Horizon 5. I think it would be Horizon Forbidden West that wins the game of the year. I do think that's this year. What do you think, Ains?
I'm probably close to you there. Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe Horizon 5 and Forbidden West, assuming it releases this year. We're going to trust Joe. I believe, and I hate Metacritic, but I believe both of those will probably be over 90. So yeah, and just generally speaking, game of the year is subjective because now people are like, well, is that Video Game Awards? Is it sites? Is it, there's no definitive, but critically speaking, kind of narrative games, story-driven games seem to just go higher. They just do. People don't appreciate the kind of multiple 100-hour open world stuff as some. So yeah, I would probably say Forbidden West, if it releases, will probably take the critical crown. I was trying to think if there's anything else coming.
So Cyberpunk's next gen patch will be out then.
Well, then that will definitely be the best game. That's for sure. I mean, I got this chair sent to me for free, guys. No, I was just trying to think, from like July through the end of the year, we talked about a ton of games. What else, like narratively, could really drive a honest conversation on Game of the Year, do you think? Is there something I'm forgetting? Do you think if Halo hits, obviously multiplayer is going to be a big hit, right? But if it hits that open world exploration, the narrative hits, it's a strong narrative. Chief is back in his prime. Do you ever think that game has a chance critically of getting Game of the Year?
No, I think
I've never thought so, but
I think if Titanfall 2 didn't land a first-person shooter Game of the Year true contender, true, I just don't think. I don't think that's how it's received in a way that is available to
that annoys category. Me. I agree with
you,
and it annoys me.
Yeah,
because I look
it annoys me too. Yeah,
the package. I look at a game's package. Like,
oh, do you?
What are we dealing with here? But you know what I mean? Like, what's the actual offering? And if you look at something like Halo Infinite, if it hits the narrative and story, it's going to have narrative, strong story, lots of hours of gameplay. It's going to have this free-to-play multiplayer component. It's going to have Forge. It's going to have all this stuff that's just going to be incredible for players. And it's like, why Why does it always have to be a 10-hour, 20-hour story game that has to win Game of the Year? It drives me.
That's why I was really happy when Overwatch beat Uncharted that one year. Because I was like, that was my game of the year. Like, and I loved Uncharted 4, don't get me wrong. But Overwatch was it for me. And so there are times where, the pendulum shifts. And I think what people love more than anything is either watching a hero prevail or a hero fall. So I think this is the hero prevailing. This has been the narrative of Xbox this whole year of like, they've had something to prove. Halo has something to prove.
Sure.
If it can nail the story aspects as well as the multiplayer aspects, if it is being as talked about as, and I'm praying it is, as like a Fortnite is being talked about in that holiday season, it has the momentum to be in that game of the year conversation. But if it doesn't hit narratively wise, I think it has a much harder time to do that. So, but I think they will.
I wonder how much marketing they do.
A lot.
And what impact that has. Well, I mean, they burned a lot of budget last year, Joe. I mean, like, my room is covered in Halo Infinite stuff now. Like, I have the statue that was for the
prepare for round 2, dude.
Yeah.
This is what? This is the 20th year of Halo.
I do think I agree with
money
Joe. I
is
think they're going to double down on it.
Yeah.
I hope
money
so.
Is not
I hope
an
so.
object.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. If you're $1 trillion company and you've already spent, the rumor is $500 million on this game.
Yeah.
Come on.
That includes the engine, which I always clarify with people. Because they say they threw $500 million, which is probably accurate, but building a brand new engine like that is a lot of money. But
we'll see if that engine makes its way to other games too.
Yeah, but point still stands, and to be honest, it doesn't matter because the game will make it back. People don't realize how much money Halo 5 made from their packs. Made a lot of money.
Yeah. And contrary to IGN's point, which was mistakenly said, there are no rec packs in Halo Infinite.
No, there's no rec packs.
They're cool season pass.
It's season passes that never expire.
That's
they never expire. So
Dear
Fortnite, bring back the Marvel season. Yeah, bring it back.
Bring back the Aquaman season.
The season not that great.
So I think if not to keep going on this, but the only reason I didn't mention Elden Ring, I think if Elden Ring was this year, it would have a chance to be Game of the Year. If Elden Ring had released in November, like Sekiro, right, or October, I think it would be in the conversation 100%.
Yeah, and honestly, out of the whole my game of show, if we're gonna have that conversation,
let's do it.
It is Elden Ring, and like I'm so pumped about that game that Halo takes a back seat, Horizon everything's taking a back seat.
Chief takes a back seat to no one.
Well, sorry, this time he is. I'm not to tell you. But I need to finish the fights. Chief, sit down.
You've done enough.
There. Exactly. You've done enough. Time to rest.
How about when he says, you only have one bullet? He's like, it's enough.
Oh, my God.
Go, boy.
I was full mass. Let's be
I
real
did.
here.
I remember I told you I muted the party during Halo because I was like fully engorged. I literally unmuted myself. I said, I'm fully engorged right now, guys. And then remuted.
Fully engorged. Jesus Christ.
Luke, your students checking in. Hi, guys.
I literally had a talk with Joe about what we can't say.
I didn't say anything bad. I said engorged.
Engorged.
My biceps, they felt real engorged. Strong at the time.
Yeah.
Like superhero. I was ready to finish the fight.
Are we gonna cast that co-op anymore, guys? Are we gonna keep casting that?
Well, what was your game of the show?
Yeah, what's your game of the show, Luke?
Probably Halo. If I'm being honest, that really did a lot to renew my faith in that game because I was always gonna love it, but was I gonna love it in a way that I have to defend every time? And that's not fun.
Right.
Like joking aside, like I love God of War. I don't have to defend that, but I also love playing Crackdown 3, and I have to defend that every time. That sucks. I don't like having to defend things I like. I'm looking at Joseph Moran
I don't know
right
what you're
now.
talking about.
You gave it a 9, Ains. Even I wouldn't get.
You just restarted it. Play the game before.
I'm playing it. It's way better than it was. But
I only have good games by me at all times.
But
good game.
I was excited because I don't feel like I'll have to defend my love for this one, and that's a good thing.
That's
fair.
Fair.
With Halo 5, it was always a caveat. Oh no, the gameplay is really fun. Like, oh, the multiplayer.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have to do that this time. That's cool.
I'm Halo 2, but Elden Ring is like if Halo's 1, Elden Ring's like 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very different games, but just both of them I will love to death.
I'm happy for you guys with your Elden Ring. I felt nothing, but I'm very happy for you.
It's gonna be so good.
I'm so happy for you.
Someone at IGN actually linked like next year's going to be nuts, and they linked like God of War, they linked Redfall, they linked Elden Ring, like all these games that are just sitting for next year. It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be awesome.
But next year is when when Xbox starts hitting its stride, right? First party. PlayStation 5 starts hitting its stride. They're gonna come together. People like us who game on everything. It's heaven, man. We're gonna be in heaven.
Yeah. All right, is it time for me to say keep casting that co-op?
Yep.
Hey guys, you know where to find us. You can find me over at Mr. Bad Bit on Twitter. You can find Ainsley over at Porsche Power. You can find Luke Lord, the Insipid Ghost at the Insipid Ghost. You can find all of our respected shows on that Twitter. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, keep casting that co-op.
That's good.
I really wanted, I felt like I was nailing it too good at the end, and I really needed to Porky Pig my way out of it. So
yeah.